Hi and welcome back. I'm your host, the Lazy Millionaire, and if you're joining me for the first time, let me tell you what it's all about. I'm taking the very best business books of all time and turning them into short YouTube summaries for anybody else who has a short attention span, like me. So rather than having to work through all these amazing books yourself, I'll be handing out nuggets of pure gold into short, easy videos. Yep, with me it's always plain sailing. Today's book is Getting Things Done by author David Allen. He looks at ways to turn all your random thoughts into results, making you the most dynamic, most efficient person you can be. And as a self-made millionaire, I have a guilty confession for you guys. I'm actually really bad at getting things done. I know, it is terrible. When thinking about the ideas from this book, I know people who fit the mark exactly. My wife, in fact, is very good at implementing the ideas from this book, and she's very successful. But for me, this is a real challenge. You'll understand why in a minute, and at the end of the video, I'll reveal how I compensate for this. Anyway, let's get started. Have you ever agreed to do so many things that your mind just can't keep track of them all? All those visits to see your friends, all those DIY projects you plan to get around to, like replacing the washers on your taps before your bathroom turns into Loch Ness. What about that book you were going to start? Or the service you were going to book your car in for? The exhaust pipe is hanging by a thread. I bet at some point you've grabbed a pen and scribbled down some of these tasks on a post-it note, and now your fridge is covered with them. Or maybe you've penciled dates on a calendar that then fell off the wall and then got chewed up by the dog. Doesn't matter though, because you put them all on your phone as well. But where on earth did you leave your phone? At this point, even just listening to this, you're probably starting to hyperventilate. And I definitely am. Your brain keeps coming up with new ideas and tasks for you to do, and even though you try to write at least some of them down, you either lose the notes you made or you don't check the calendar you bought especially. So you still manage to miss it. Okay, keep calm, breathe slowly. We can't keep track of everything, and even though that feels like a failure, it really isn't. Our brains are not designed to hold every thought we have. In fact, our minds are for having ideas, not for holding them. They're designed to come up with ideas all the time, which is great. But the tricky part is sifting through all these ideas, weighing them all up, separating the good from the bad. Because some ideas, in fact, probably loads of ideas, will be absolute rubbish. So here's how you can declutter your brain, act on the good ideas and get rid of the bad, and how to lose the stress along the way. Plus, we can also learn to focus on the things that matter the most over time. We need to learn how to capture our ideas securely, freeing up our mental processing power and allowing ourselves to act effectively on whatever is engaging us at any precise moment. Imagine being able to take a screenshot of your thoughts that you could then file away to be looked at later, so you don't have to juggle it in your brain. And the good news is, there's a 5-step process you can use. Capture, process, organize, review, and finally, do. So let's look at the first vital process, capturing your ideas. It's like fishing. An idea pops up and you get the net underneath it. It doesn't matter how you capture your ideas, whether it's on a notepad, on your phone, on a post-it note, whatever. The important thing is to record it and save it for later. Make a quick note on your phone, maybe transfer it to a folder on your laptop. It doesn't have to be a good idea. You're not thinking about that yet. You're just capturing it for later. And in capturing it, you're doing your brain a lot of good. You're releasing its need to hold on to the idea. It can now have new ideas, and you won't have to stress about remembering it. All that steam pouring out of your ears, it will disappear. You'll feel lighter. Now you've captured your idea, the second thing is to process it. This is the part where you do the hard work. Make time once a week where you sit down and ask yourself questions about the ideas you've captured. Firstly, do I want to take action on this idea? Do I really feel the world is ready for an automatic hairbrush? If not, get rid of it. File it away, either in the bin or a reference folder for a rainy day. If, on the other hand, you like the idea, maybe for some reason you really hate having to brush your own hair, then the next step is to use the 2-minute rule. If anything takes 2 minutes or less, then do it now and free up your brain space forever. However, if it takes longer than 2 minutes, then you can consider it a project and add it to your projects list. Break your project up into actions you need to take in order to make it a reality. If you don't decide this, your project will just hang around like the smell in a fishmonger's at the end of the week. It will bother your brain until you take action. Let's illustrate this with an example. Seeing if an automatic hairbrush is already available on Amazon would probably take less than 2 minutes, so do it now. But designing the hairbrush would take longer, in which case it's a project, so add it to your project list. Once you've got a project, you need to organise it. Do you have a date it needs to be done by? If so, put a date for completion in your calendar. If it's a priority, put it on your action list. For example, registering a trademark for your auto hairbrush might be a priority, so that should go straight on your action list. Once you've got a project, you need to organise it. If you can delegate some of the project to someone else, you might want to put a follow-up reminder in your calendar, so you can check on their progress when you need to. The exact way you organise your workflow will be unique to you, although it will most likely involve a combination of calendar reminders and a to-do list. Trello is the to-do list that I use, and I'd definitely recommend it for you guys watching this video. But however you choose to organise your workflow, it's important that you do organise it. This gives you the control over your ideas, so that your ideas and thoughts don't have control over you. Basically, get rid of ideas that you don't need and allow your brain to focus on the ones that you do. Capture your ideas, process them, get organised, and then we need to review. This is where we can use a laser-like focus to keep our goals on track. In order to keep our system functioning, we need to review it regularly. Alan recommends a daily review for your calendar and action list, plus a weekly review for the current projects. Maybe a couple of hours on a Friday afternoon, even. But these aren't the only aspects you should review. You should also review your plans regularly as they relate to your 1-year goals, 5-year goals, and even your life goals. Think of the review step like a bit of housekeeping to keep the whole system sparkling clean. The final step in the getting things done process is to actually do the things. You make this decision based on context, time available, energy available, and priority. Prioritizing tasks is something that most people are actually pretty bad at. And I don't have time to delve deeper in a 10-minute video, but if you do want to go into specifics on this or anything else, the book contains specific details that are really helpful. So I've left links for the book and audiobook in the description below. Let's recap the 5 key points from this summary. 1. Capture your ideas to free up your brain space. 2. Process your ideas. Will it take less than 2 minutes? If so, do it now. Otherwise, add it to your project list. 3. Organise your projects. Break them down into an action list, prioritise, and add relevant items to your calendar. 4. Review your workflow to make sure you stay on track. And 5. Do the things based on priority. Finally, my guilty confession at the start of this video was that I'm naturally actually really bad at following the process that getting things done lays out. My computer desktop is a mess, and occasionally I grab everything and put it inside another folder on the desktop called Desktop. It's the computer equivalent of tidying your room by shoving everything under your bed, and I know it's bad. My action list is quite messy, but at least everything is written down, which does free up my brain space. And I find the way that I compensate for being naturally bad at following this process is to focus all my energy on one task at a time. If something is not my absolute priority, then it's probably not going to get done, and I'm okay with that. And conversely, I'm actually pretty good at doing the things that are the number one priority and need to get done. So I'd really recommend you guys write everything down and then focus on the thing that's the absolute priority for you. Thanks for watching this video, and if you've enjoyed it, subscribe to the Lazy Millionaire channel for lots more.